What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Zamir from XCC Tunes. In this video, I'm gonna talk about Studio One Artist. Studio One Artist is a DAW which costs only $99, but it can do a lot of great things. And the limitation compared to Studio One Pro is not much. I mean, if you're an artist, singer, songwriter, producer, you can actually just use Studio One Artist alone to make killer music. When you compare it to Pro, you get additional features such as video track, mixing in Dolby, Atmos, Scratchpad, chord track, and so on. However, you can actually do quite a lot of things with Studio One Artist without having to upgrade to Studio One Pro, which is what I'm going to show you guys in this video. Right? I recently bought an audio interface, Audio Box 96, and I got this Studio One Artist copy for free. On top of that, I get quite a lot of other VSTs, effects, and stuff like that. So, which is really exciting. All you need to do is just get an interface from PreSonus, and you're gonna get a Studio One Artist together with a lot of plugins, synth instruments. So, which I'm gonna show you right now. So let's get started. So this is the AudioBox USB 96 Studio bundle that I bought recently, and it comes with the headphone mic and a small mic stand and audio interface with a lot of cool plugins. So the plugins that comes with it is this one, Studio One 6 Artist, and Analog Lab Intro, Cherry Audio, this two synth from Cherry Audios, and then you get some sample pack from Ghost Hack and Synth Master Player, and you get this Clang Helm tube, you get reverb, you get a delay from Native Instrument, you get this output movement. This is one of my favorite plugin. It's a modulation plus LFO types of effects plugin, and you get few awesome plugin alliance plugins such as BX Opto, Attacker Plus, Mag Audio, and you also get the UJams virtual basses, Sound Snaps 3 months free coupon, UVI's a piano. This is another awesome plugin that you should have. And then you get the Isotope Neutron Elements Studio Magic. I don't know why they call it Studio Magic. I think maybe there's some additional stuff there. I haven't checked it out yet. So if you buy an audio interface, you're getting all these software and plugins. So if you're just starting out, you don't need anything else. So here you got a basic piano, which is from UVI, good sounding VST, and then you get UJam virtual basses, you get delay, reverb, some tube saturation, 1 2 3 4. So actually you get 4 5 6, you get 6 instruments. If you're starting out, this is all you need. Right, the best part about Studio One Artist is you don't have any limitation for audio tracks or MIDI tracks. Right, some digital audio workstation for this price range there is a limitation. For example, Bitwig, I think they have a 16 track or 8 tracks limitation for this price range. We have this Fruity Loops, which is the Fruity edition. You get a lot more limitation here compared to the one for Producer edition, right? Cubase Artist is actually a bit more pricey, so I'm not going to talk about that. Cubase Element 13 is the same price as Studio One Artist, and you have certain limitation for that price range. So you see you have MIDI track 64 only, 48 audio tracks. But let me be honest with you guys, 48 audio tracks and 24 instrument tracks and 64 MIDI tracks is enough to make music, right, with Cubase Element 13. But Studio One Artist shines more when it comes to its features, okay? Okay, I have fired up my Studio One Artist and I'm gonna just open a new document right now. It doesn't look much different compared to the Pro version, but like I said before, it doesn't have a video track, it doesn't have a scratch pad, it doesn't have the Dolby Atmos mixing features, and it doesn't have a Q mix as well when you're mixing. So when you download Studio One Artist and install it, you get PreSonus instruments, right? We have Impact, Mai Tai, Mojito, Presence, and Sample One. These are awesome plugins, and you can actually make really good music with these plugins. And I'm gonna make another video where I show you guys what we can do with the plugins that comes with Studio One. Stay tuned for that. And you can also have third-party plugins. Here I have Synapse Audio, I have Steinberg's, I have Serato, Reason, and all these cool plugins I bought over the years, right? When I was using Studio One Artist, I don't really feel like I'm missing a lot of things, because obviously I'm not mixing in Dolby Atmos, and I'm not making any film scoring with Studio One, because I still prefer using Cubase for film scoring, and I'm not using Scratchpad either. But definitely I missed that feature in Studio One Artist. Okay, like I said in the previous video, I really like the music loop features in Studio One, and even in Studio One Artist you are able to use that feature, and that's really awesome. Okay, now let's see what we can do with Studio One Artist. I'm gonna add a couple of tracks right now. So I have 4 audio tracks right now, and each of these tracks is now coming from the input one. If you want to set up your I/O setup, you can just click on this drop down menu, go to audio I/O setup, and then I've already renamed this mic 1, mic 2. So currently it is coming from mic 1 and it's assigned to mic 1, right? So let's say this is my background vocal. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pack this into a folder. I'm going to right click and go to pack folder. Okay, now I'm going to rename this BV. If you click on this, you can see all the tracks that is added to this folder. Now what you can do next is you can actually add a bus channel. You can do this in Studio One 6 Professional, and you can also do this in Artist. There's no limitation at all. You can change the mono to stereo with one button, that is another cool features. And then you can come and color these tracks. So if you notice, if you color this one folder, everything else is gonna get colored as well. And another cool part is when you add another audio track inside this folder, it's gonna be colored as well, which is another awesome things that I like with Studio One. So I have 8 tracks in this folder, and I can just collapse them. If I go to the mixed console, I can uncollapse it and collapse them by clicking this folder icon on the timeline, or I can go here to the mixer and then just click on it like so. So these are the only things you need for recording audio, right? So you need to be able to set your input, you need to be able to route it to a folder and add a bus to it and keep it organized. You can do all this in Studio One Artist. You don't have to have a professional version of it. So when it comes to production, you also get a lot of things in Studio One Artist. So if you don't have any third-party plugin, you're only gonna get this PreSonus instruments. So I think this is really cool now. So let me just drag this impact here. So let's create something. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna double click on it, and I'm gonna right click and go to instrument part, and I can convert this part to pattern. Okay, now when I double click on this, it's gonna give me this pattern view, which is awesome, just like FL Studio. Okay, and then you can build your tracks. Right, and then you can have this one. Okay, and you can also humanize them, like you can add swings. If you want to add swing, you can just turn this up. Okay, but I don't like to bring this up quite a lot, so let's bring it down to maybe 20%. And then the other thing I like to do is I like to go to this delay, right, and then I just adjust these parameters so that it doesn't sounds the same all the time. Okay, let's do snap as well. I want to make it delay a little bit. Okay, now you get a humanized drum track. And then if you want to add an instrument, so we have a lot of instrument here. My Tai is a more of an electronic kind of sounds. There's a lot of presets you can choose. Let's try pad. Okay, let me record something now. Okay, let's quantize them. Okay, now let's add something else. And you have this cool sampler here, which I really like, because you are able to layer sounds with this sampler. Okay, let's say I have a loop here. Okay, let me drag this one. Okay, I've dragged this melody loop in Studio One 6, and what I can do, I can actually right click on it and go and click on the split add grid. So this grid is gonna be whatever value that you have set here. So 16 is too much, so let me undo that. I'm gonna change this to maybe 4, and right click, go to event, go to split add grid now. Okay, and then you can select all of them and add a crossfade if you want, and then you can select all of these events and open the instrument. I'm gonna drag it and I'm gonna press shift to insert slices. Okay, so now I can play. So now I can sample a sound in Studio One. So if you are into sampling, you can use Studio One Sample One to sample your beats. You don't need to spend on external sampler, right? So that's another cool part that I like with Studio One Artist. One of the best thing about Studio One is the macro. Okay, so in Studio One you can actually create a lot of macros here, right? You don't have to necessarily assign it to a keyboard shortcut, because you can just click on this button here and you have all these macros. You can use it when you're making beat or recording or mixing, right? There's no limitation for macro as well, and the keyboard shortcut. If you want to further manipulate the audio, for instance, if you want to transpose it, if you click on this audio event, right click on it, you have all these options to use. So you have this transpose, bend marker. Bend marker is where you can stretch the audio. You have this sync point. Sync point is really awesome. You have this gain envelope, bend markers and everything. You can just click on it and then you can start using it. And if you don't want to see all these parameters here on this audio event, you can just turn it off, right? So I think that is really nice. And this sync point is another thing that it's very useful, especially when you're editing. And I'm not going to talk about it today because I'm just reviewing the Studio One Artist, and I might be making a lot of beats using Studio One Artist than Cubase, because I really like the workflow of Studio One. But film scoring, I'm still gonna stick with Cubase because nothing beats Cubase when it comes to film scoring, right? Okay, so that's it guys. So I just want to share with you guys what you can get with Studio One Artist. If you have an audio interface from PreSonus, don't sleep on the Studio One Artist. You might want to check it out. You might like it if you start using it, right? So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.